Welcome to the Empty Wagon Fantasy Football Podcast. Brad and Josh in the studio. We got a little show lined up for you today. Hope your off season's going amazingly. But we got the Super Bowl is next weekend, Josh.
I'm more excited about what's happening tonight.
What?
The Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay.
I love the
Who's
Royal
winning the
Rumble.
Rumble? Who's winning the Rumble? Come on. Razor Ramon?
I will not be Razor Ramon.
Okay.
I can assure you of that. I'm not really sure, man.
Braun Strowman? Do they do a separate
I would love for it to be Braun
Do they do a
Strowman.
separate SmackDown and Raw one, or do they do one combined?
No, now they have a male and a female one.
Oh, okay.
The female one was earlier.
Did it already happen?
Yeah, no one cares.
Ronda Rousey won it?
I don't know.
Is she the champion?
I don't know. I don't care. Who cares?
Sasha Banks.
Snoop Dogg's cousin? Yeah. But yeah, man. So I'm excited to see who's going to win that.
I want your prediction. I need your prediction.
I would love to see Braun Strowman win it.
Is John Cena going to do it?
From what I understand, he's not going to be there. But it could be one of those fake out things, like surprise you, like, oh.
So
John
now that
Cena.
he's got his hair all grown out, my uncle who watches wrestling all the time said he's looking a lot like JBL.
He kind of does. That's weird, yeah. I haven't. So I still pay attention to wrestling news. I don't get to watch it as much because I don't have the WWE network. You have to pick and choose which subscriptions you want to pay for all the time, and that one doesn't make the cut for me.
I did that one for a while in Germany, but yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't make the cut with Hulu and Netflix and stuff. And
I would do it just because it was only, I think it was like $5 at the time or something.
Yeah.
And I'd watch like all the old Attitude Era ones.
Yeah, dude, but just Hulu just raised their prices. Netflix just raised their prices. I can't keep up. It's too much for me.
And Disney's going to have their own one soon. And
dude,
all their stuff's coming off Netflix.
I'm canceling Netflix for sure.
I don't know. I just watch The Office so much.
I'm going to have to.
I might just have to buy the whole Office on.
Why don't you just buy the DVD set?
I could buy it on Amazon.
Or you could do a digital download, yeah.
Yeah, on Amazon. That's what I might do.
That's what you should do.
Probably. They got deleted scenes
You
and
have
stuff.
You have it memorized by now, so maybe you should just keep it.
All right, let's get into some football. So, like I said, Patriots, Rams.
Ugh.
It's the Sunday after. Everybody knows how the Rams got there. They find the Rams guy. Do you think that's a big deal? They said it was a helmet-to-helmet hit. NFL did find him. Does this make Saints fans
could not care less about that penalty.
Okay. Me neither. I'm just with you.
Does anyone remember the Drew Brees to an interception in overtime? Does anyone? No? No one remembers that?
Or the 2 field goals that went for the first half and the drop touchdown in the first half?
Or the fact that maybe they should have just ran the ball 3 times and made the Rams use their timeouts? There was numerous things that could have happened differently there. The Saints screwed themselves.
Yep.
So quit crying, Saints fans.
Who do you got in the Super Bowl?
Well, I
know
said
you want the Rams to win.
I was wrong on both of the title games, so I'm going to pick the Patriots in hopes that the Rams win.
Do you think if the Patriots win, Brady hangs it up?
No, he said today. They asked him, "Is there any chance this is your last game if you win?" He said 0.
Chance that I'm telling you the truth.
No, he's playing, dude.
They said, I saw a funny meme. It had a picture of him, and he's like 50 years old, balding and stuff. He's like, I just want to win one Super Bowl without an asterisk.
Dude, in church today, our pastor was going off on him. He said, yeah, which teams lost the most Super Bowls? Patriots. And he was like, you know how many Tom Brady has won without cheating? 0. He had all these funny jokes. I was like, oh my gosh.
Have the Patriots really lost more Super Bowls than the Bills? The Bills lost 4.
Well, Tom Brady alone's lost 3.
And then they had the one before. So they're tied.
Still lost the most.
Okay. All right. So you're taking the Patriots.
In hopes that the Rams win.
Oh, man. I want to see the... So Sean McVay, last time he played Julian Edelman in a game, he beat him.
Was that high school?
Yeah. It was. It was college. It was the D2 schools they went to. Sean McVay had a better game than he did, too.
Dude,
Edelman was quarterback and McVay was wide receiver.
McVay's smart, but Bill's been doing this a while, dude. The smart money's always on the Patriots, right?
I think the Rams are favored.
That's not good.
By like 2.5.
Yeah, I'm sure the stupid Patriots will use that as motivation to win.
Yep. But, all right. So, I'll take the Rams, just so we can be separate here. Pie bet it?
No. I'll
Okay.
pass.
All right. So, we're going to talk about the top 20 running backs of last year. How surprised were you with some of those names towards the bottom of that list? I was really surprised. Like, 15 through 20, I was pretty surprised about.
Some of these guys, yeah, and then some of the guys who, didn't even play a good chunk of games were still like an RB1.
That's when I'm like, I was really like, I got, past the top 10, and then I started getting, like, really, I got surprised after 10. That's when, like, oh, hey, what? Oh, really?
Mine wasn't, yeah, I could see that.
Just look at the names. Like, there were some surprising names in there, is all I'm saying.
We'll get into it. So, number 1, you took odds, I took evens.
Yep.
Number 1 running back.
Any news you want to talk about? There wasn't really a lot of news. It's probably a week.
Firings, hirings. Jason Witten screwed up the commentary at the Pro Bowl, broke the trophy.
Do you care about the Pro Bowl?
I don't. I just keep hoping that people will see that he is a terrible announcer.
Andy Luck played dodgeball this week. I mean, I don't know what you'll talk about.
That was actually kind of cool, the dodgeball game. But
all right. So, yeah, we'll just get into running backs in. Get me fired off.
Yeah, number 1 running back.
So these are PPR rankings, just so everybody, before you're like, oh, Todd Gurley was in standard, Todd Gurley was number 1. But in PPR, Saquon Barkley, number 1. And it comes down to his 91 catches for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Wait. How many yards?
721.
Oh, I thought you said 171. I was like, no. What?
721 through the air and then 13 on the ground. So he had 2,000 yards.
That's pretty good.
Rookie year on a bad offensive team. He really didn't have a bad game until week 15. Problem with that is that was probably in your playoffs.
Yep.
So that was his only game under 10 points in PPR. I mean, his only other bad game was a 14-pointer at San Francisco.
So can't complain about that.
Yeah, he had a really good year. I mean, not really much to say. You see anything about a sophomore slump with him?
No, I think he's solid. I mean, look at those thighs.
Yeah, and you got to think, Odell missed some games too, and even with Odell out, not pulling coverage off, he still did this.
He made his case to be a top 3 pick for sure, possibly top 2 pick.
So I knew he had a lot of receptions, but the thing I didn't realize was he was 3rd in running backs on targets, behind only Christian McCaffrey and James White. He had 121 targets.
Yep.
That is bananas.
Well, the first half of the season, Eli was dump off city, so...
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say about Saquon. It's Saquon Barkley. He's a top 3 pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, you got Gurley and then...
With the injury history at the end of the season with Gurley and him not looking in the playoffs, would you be willing to take Saquon ahead of Gurley?
Saquon might be number 1.
Yeah. In Dynasty, I guarantee you take Saquon over
yeah, of course.
Gurley, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hit up number 2.
We'll move on to Christian McCaffrey. He had an incredible year. The only reason he came in second place is because he didn't play most of the last game in the season, but he had 385.5 points. He finished second by 0.3 points. So Christian McCaffrey had a beast of a year. Outside of that Week 17 performance, he only had 1 game. Well, it wasn't even a bust game. His worst game, 13.5 points PPR. You'll take that all day. Christian McCaffrey, great in your playoffs and championship week. 46 points, 28 points, 26 points. He had 5 yards per carry, 867 receiving yards, and 107 catches. He was a PPR machine this year. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, yeah, he's going to be up there in picks next year. I loved him. I don't think that you expected to get this from him, but he was the most consistent player, and he was the player who was on the majority of championship rosters this season.
Yeah.
So, what else can you say about Christian McCaffrey? He's real good.
Now, I just went back 12 years real quick, looking at all the past histories. This is the closest first-second finish for running backs that I could get to. I couldn't find anyone even closer. Obviously, 0.3 is really close, but
0.3 is ridiculously close.
And this is one of the best years for running backs, especially in the top 3, of all being over 370 points. Wow. That was a phone call. I don't know what that was.
It wasn't me, dude.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
All right. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. He led the league in targets. He set the record for receptions. Are you nervous at all if Cam misses next year? How this will affect Christian McCaffrey?
No, I'm not really that worried about it. Christian McCaffrey, even in that, like I said, in the playoffs, Cam didn't play, the last 2 games of the season?
Yeah. Do you worry?
And he saw 26 points in one of those games. So
what about this? What if Cam is healthy and slinging the ball down the field again?
I'm not worried about that.
Okay, because Christian McCaffrey's rookie year, He didn't get nowhere near this volume of receptions.
I think what a big part of that was, though, is that they were still trying to force things to happen in the offense, and now they're kind of realizing that Christian McCaffrey's superstar. They're kind of featuring him in the offense. But DJ Moore will take a step next year. I don't doubt that. I think that he's going to be much better. But, yeah, you got to wait and see what Cam. He already had an off-season shoulder surgery. I don't expect Christian McCaffrey to take a step back, though. I personally don't.
If you were on the clock, let's say in the top 3 picks, and it's between Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley, you still taking Barkley ahead of him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still taking Barkley.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're clear there. Number 3, Todd Gurley. He had a terrible year compared to these other guys, 372 points, and he missed 2 games.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon didn't miss any. So think about that.
Yeah. He missed 2 games and also had the Chicago game where he was terrible and a Kansas City game where he only got you 12 points. Other than that, though, when you look at his box score, it's 23, 32, 20. Like, you can pencil him in for almost 20 points every week.
That's really good.
He is redonkulous.
He's very good.
And he didn't get – so he had 17 touchdowns on the ground and 4 through the air.
Even with him missing those games, he averaged 26.6 fantasy points per
So
game.
that does take into account him missing those games. It takes out those games, yes. So he averaged in the games he played 26.6.
That's crazy.
Christian McCaffrey and Barkley both were 24.1, which is still great, but
yeah,
holy. When Todd Gurley's healthy, whew.
It's very good.
And he gets used. He had actually less rushing attempts and less receptions than Saquon. It's just those touchdowns. In the red zone, he is their red zone option.
Yes.
Inside the 5, they're punching it in. So, I mean, everyone say regression on touchdowns with Todd Gurley, but in this offense with McVay, they're going to score points.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know really what to say about Todd Gurley. Hopefully, he does a lot in the Super Bowl that really cements that he's healthy. I do worry about the wear and tear towards the end, but you can't trade Todd Gurley.
No, absolutely not.
You cannot trade him.
All right. So moving on to our next guy, we have Alvin Kamara at number 4. He had an incredible season again, but you have to really look at what's happening here. So he played 15 games as opposed to the 16, and that's in air quotes because you guys can't see it, but his yards per carry went down by a lot. So he was averaging 6.1 yards per carry last year. This year, 4.6. That's a big drop. It doesn't sound like a lot. You know what, though?
What's the difference in attempts, though, for him this year to last year?
So he had 194 this year, 120 last year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with more usage, your average is going to go down.
That's true, but I just kind of saw it as, even though he's still phenomenal, it's still kind of a step back for what he had the same amount of receptions that he did the year prior, with less yards and less touchdowns through the air. Where he really made his money for you this year was his rushing touchdowns. He had 14 of them. So, I mean, when you break it down on a per-game basis, he had a great season, 354 points. He had, 2 really, dud games. One of them was against Atlanta.
And he did miss a game too, right?
Yes, he did miss a game. The dud game against Atlanta was he just didn't have any catches. And then the other dud game was Mark Ingram's first game back.
Yeah.
So
yep.
he makes his money through receptions, and if he's not going to get you any, it's going to hurt you. The Saints offense can be weird at times. You got to watch those home run splits, but what Alvin Kamara did for you weeks 12 through 14 in the playoffs wasn't really. Oh, no, not 12 through 14. Sorry. I don't know why. I wrote down the wrong numbers. Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
14 through 16, 15, 23, and 26, right?
Yeah.
So he helped you in the playoffs. He averaged over 20 points a game still. Alvin Kamara is still very good, but you need to pay attention to the Mark Ingram situation if they bring him back.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. If Mark Ingram's gone, he's an easy top 3 pick, right? Would you put him above any of the guys we've talked about if Mark Ingram's gone? Because we saw what he did in the first half of the year before Mark Ingram left.
So I put him and Christian McCaffrey neck and neck.
For that 3 spot?
Yeah. Saquon and Gurley are still 1 and 2, I think, but yeah. Yeah, it's tough, dude. There's some great backs.
If Mark Ingram's gone. If Mark Ingram's there.
If Mark Ingram's gone,
he's a middle of the first round back into the first round guy.
If Mark
He's not-
Ingram's there?
Mark Ingram's there.
Yeah.
There's no way you could take him, even talk about him in the top 3.
You cannot do it, and you have to seriously look at the defenses are playing the matchups, how he's going to be utilized. Some defenses, like in Washington, those guys are going to hold time of possession. All those things take into effect. So, yeah, I still love Alvin Kamara. I still think he's a great player, and if you have him on your team, you're not going to be sad about him being your first round pick by any stretch. So,
yeah, I agree. And 354 points on the season, not too shabby.
No.
Well, heaven forbid, 354.
Oh my gosh, no.
And then we go to 5, Zeke Elliott. Just so you know, 354 last year would have been second for running backs above Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
That's how good the running back was this year.
Very good.
Ezekiel Elliott with his pedestrian 329 points.
Friggin' bum.
So when you look at Zeke, it's 2 seasons to me. We got before the bye week, before the Amari Cooper trade. We have okay numbers, but not what you drafted him for. 17, 19, 14. He had that big 34-point game against Detroit, but then 15, 18, and then a 6 against Washington. That's not what you wanted for your top pick.
Washington did that to a couple of good backs this year.
Especially when you see Todd Gurley's and you see the Christian McCaffrey numbers and the Saquon Barkley numbers, and you're like, where are you at, Zeke? But then they go out and they get Amari. And it starts with just 15, when you're like, oh, keep going with this again. But then 36, 33, 25, 25, 31.
Mm-hmm.
And then 19, 15. That's toward the end of the season. And then he didn't play last game of the season. So, Zeke, you still tried and true with Zeke? I mean, they're going to run him to the ground as long as he's on Dallas, right?
Yeah. But this is his 4th year? This upcoming year?
It is.
Yeah.
He has 304 attempts. All the guys before us, the highest one was Saquon Barkley with 261.
Dang, son.
And he was the rushing leader again this season with 1,435 yards.
And 4.7 yards a carry for that many attempts is strong.
Yeah, and he is the lowest touchdown of the guys for rushing in the top 6.
And I expect that to go up.
Yeah.
I'm expecting positive regression.
He did get a lot of receptions, though. This was his best reception year, I think, in his career.
Yeah, 77 is good.
So if they're going to use him that way, I love that a lot. The fumbles, whatever. I mean, the way he runs, he's going to lose the ball.
Well, we got to see what happens with Kellen Moore from the old Jason Garrett coaching tree.
You mean the Jerry Jones coaching tree?
Yeah, he's creating his
That's
own.
what Cole Beasley said.
Yeah, he's creating his own coaching tree.
You heard Cole Beasley's comment, right?
I do not expect him to be a Cowboy next year.
So, just so everybody knows, Cole Beasley came out and said to the media that the front office decides where the ball goes. He's like, they script it out. The only time I get the ball is in the 2-minute drills where we can't script out a play.
That sounds
pretty much saying that good old Jerry's saying Amari gets the ball. Nope, Amari gets the ball. We'll see what happens in Dallas.
Yeah.
But Zeke, you're still top of the first round next year with him?
Yeah, I'm still high on Zeke, and he still got you, 21.9 points per game. You can't really argue with that. I mean, if
they re-sign Amari, which they're talking about doing, that'll keep him from getting that 8 in the box all the time.
Yes.
Because Amari's going to stretch the field and have to keep the safety up top.
All right. So our next guy, 6 on the list, James Conner. He only played 13 games. He was a little banged up, and he had a couple games where he really busted you. There were 3 games he had that were below 12 points, so that kind of hurt.
Can a guy you took in probably the last round or picked up off waiver wire really bust you, though?
If you took him as a Le'Veon Bell backup and you thought he was going to be...
But you still took him in the 15th or 16th round to pick him up.
Yeah, so obviously he's helping you, but I'm saying we're talking about like projecting next year what's going to happen. Big Ben threw for over 5,000 yards. James Conner only benefited from 497 of those yards, so he wasn't getting a lot of it. He got enough to make his money, but 55 catches in 13 games, and then he had 973 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. And this is a huge drop-off, right? So the first 5 guys that we all talked about had over 300 points fantasy scoring. But the difference here, 280 points. He's almost a full 100 points behind the top 3 guys. So you're talking about a huge drop-off. 100 points going from Todd Gurley had 372, James Conner, who was our number 3, James Conner's our number 6, 280.
That's about what it was last year, though, when you look Todd Gurley to Mark Ingram.
Yeah,
They were very similar to that.
And I do understand, with the injuries and stuff like that, I understand it, but there's something to be said about injury history. There's something to be said about consistency. And the games that he had where he hurt you, he didn't get 1,000 yards. It was bad. He had a bad game against Tampa Bay, 9.5 points. And then he followed it up with another bad game against Baltimore, 6.4 points. He had another bad game against Jacksonville, 4.9 points. Denver, 7.5 points. And then he had 3 games where he missed. Yes, he helped you, but you need to be wary of him. And I think that he's going to be back into the first round, early second maybe.
Would it surprise you, though, if we go into next season and his ADP is in the top 5? Mark Ingram comes back, so Alvin Kamara drops down, and maybe people are just fading on Zeke or don't trust Christian McCaffrey's catching numbers and see him going at like a 5 or a 4.
No, there maybe in some leagues, yes. Not in my league, because there are guys that I'm looking at below him that I like a lot more than James Conner.
Oh, the next guy? I'm pretty sure it's not the next guy we're going to talk about.
I don't know who is the next guy.
No, we'll get into that. But James Conner, though, I mean, would it really surprise you, though, if going into next season, AB's gone, Alvin Kamara's in not a great situation still. Wait till we get to the next guy. You'll hear it. But
I mean, he really made your money for you in 6 games. He had a 29-point game, a 30-point game, 24, 33, 22, and 19. So that's really where he made the rest of them. So are you going to take a guy with your first-round pick who's inconsistent and he could do more damage than good, realistically? When he's big.
Yeah. So Le'Veon Bell, who was the number 2 running back last year, had 85 catches. James Conner only had 55. And I think this is mostly because this is the first time the Steelers had 2 legitimate good wide receivers in a long time. And if AB's gone, I think that opened up some targets for Conner.
No, that's very possible. But I do expect James Washington to take a little step forward. You can't replace what AB brings you, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next guy we were talking about that I was kind of hinting at, James White. This is a huge,
this is an anomaly.
Yeah. He got it done in the passing game. We're going to say it there. Because he got you just 5 touchdowns and only 425 yards. In PPR, he was awesome with 87 catches, 751 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
Blowing my mind.
But he only averaged 17.3 points. The reason I bring this up is everybody else in the top 8, so including the guy underneath him, had over 21 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Because he played every game this season. He's the first one, well, other than the first 2 guys that played every game this season.
It's just crazy, dude. Look at it. It's just crazy.
It is. And we remember the beginning of the season, James White started off hot.
He was so hot.
And because he was so cheap, right? Like the ADP was so low on him.
So hot.
But are you even taking James White in the 3rd round next year still?
I don't know.
Would you? Let's say he's sitting there in the 3rd round.
No.
Would you take him as your 3rd running back in the 3rd round? Seeing what he did, he was a top 10 running back.
In my 3rd running back in the 3rd round?
Yeah, because you went 3 running backs this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go 30 running backs next year, too.
Yeah, you like that strategy, don't you?
I'm a big fan.
It's going to be a lot harder next year when the first 2 rounds are all running backs and 2 wide receivers get taken.
I thought it would be hard this year, but...
You were in the back end, which made it a little easier.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe.
Ugh.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's the New England running back situation, right? That's
yeah,
exactly what it is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, dude.
He's
not healthy.
I can't take James White that high.
There are so many other guys that I like on this list.
But the biggest knock on him is the same knock I have on Christian McCaffrey. But Christian McCaffrey actually showed up in the running game, is that he doesn't get the workload running the ball. Yes, he gets those great passing numbers. So when they're chasing points and they're playing Kansas City, yeah, he's going to get the ball. But when they're in that ground and pound game going to Cleveland or something, he's not getting the ball.
I feel like there's guys you could sneak into that 3rd round like a Kerryon Johnson.
We'll get there.
No, I'm just saying who I would rather have.
Carry on. Maybe Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, guys like that. If Dalvin Cook falls to the 3rd round, you're going to take him.
Okay. Here comes the love fest. You got the music for it? You got some love music here? You got the drops, so you got to play some love music.
I mean,
You must love this guy right now.
I'm a big fan, but it's not about that. Or did you want the actual?
It's Lee Roswell Love.
I don't see. So Melvin Gordon, it's huge help to me. And if you look at him and him staying healthy, he would have finished as the RB5 in the season, ahead of Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, he only played 12 games.
12 games. He wasn't really the same after he returned from injury. But this was his first year over 5 yards a carry. He had 5.1.
The best so far we've talked about.
Yep. That's best out of everyone, yeah. He had 885 rushing yards in 12 games, which is good. 490 receiving yards. He had 50 catches, 4 receiving touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. Melvin Gordon had a great year before the injury. I mean, my goodness, man. What can you say about this guy? There wasn't a game that he had before the injury that was below 16 points.
Yeah.
27, 30, 16, 30, 22, 35, 19, 27, 21, 20. He's a game-winning running back when he's healthy.
But the injuries, when healthy, right?
Yeah.
Does that keep him at? So I wouldn't be surprised if people take him early in the first round next year because of the way he started the season. And a lot of people may have quit playing by the time he started falling off.
Yeah.
So they don't really look at the whole season. And this is why we're talking about this. You got to see the whole season. I do worry about Melvin Gordon with the injuries.
Same team.
Yeah, see?
Same.
I do worry about both of them injuries because they're on the Los Angeles Chargers.
Your team, yeah.
Somebody always gets hurt there.
Dude, you ain't kidding me. Well, and he got hurt on such a stupid play.
That's when he got re-hurt again because he was already banged up before that. Remember he missed the London game?
But it was a different knee.
But he missed the London game with the hamstrings.
Stupid idiot.
Because I was playing you that week and I was nice and told you. And lost by 2 points.
It was very nice.
But yeah, Melvin Gordon, probably a back in the first round guy. Middle back in the first round.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take, I don't think if you're the top.
Missing 4 games out of a 16-game season. He's missing a quarter of the games.
You would still take Zeke over him easily, right?
Would I take Zeke over him? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Because I don't expect him to. This is the first year he's had this kind of season. He's a solid.
He's been a touchdown guy.
He's been a touchdown guy
ever since his rookie year.
Well, not the rookie year.
Yeah, ever since after the rookie year.
Yeah,
after the rookie. That's what I mean.
Phillip looked his way a lot for some nice little short throws, but Mike Williams could emerge. Melvin Gordon is still going to be a solid play, I believe, when healthy. But if he can give me, those 11 or 12 good games like he did this year, that's something you're going to be happy to take. You just got to have depth at running back no matter what. Your guys are going to get banged up.
Yep. All right, number 9, David Johnson. Oof.
This is crazy.
So he was 9, and it's just simply because, but he didn't feel like it. He's one of these guys that, he was 9.
Woo.
He had, 3 good games, if you want to call it that? At 19, he had one 19-point game at 21. And then a 37-point game after the bye. He's back. And then, no, he wasn't. It was just such a bad year for the whole offense. The whole offense, right? Arizona and next year with Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff?
You taking him over? You still taking him in the first round, David Johnson?
No, I'm going to try and sneak him in the second.
But you're in the back in the first round. Are you going to grab him before maybe... Let's say you're at 9 or 10. Would you take him there instead of trying to pray that he comes back to you? Because he's probably not coming back. If you're in a 12-team league with 4 picks between you.
No. I think I'd rather have a Joe Mixon ahead of him.
Yeah.
Personally.
Okay.
But
no, I understand that. And I think this is why he may fall a little bit, but...
You have to pay attention to this preseason, how Cliff is going to use him in the preseason.
He only averaged 15.4 points a game.
And the biggest thing is he was healthy for every game, and that's kind of what propelled him to be the number 9 running back.
He was there every game.
He was just there. But 3.6 yards per carry? This is the lowest we've had out of any running back. This is
7 touchdowns, which is, I'm pretty sure, the only reason he's up there, and 3 receiving.
3.6 yards per carry is the lowest one that we have
in the top 20. Nope, number 20
That's 3.7.
is above him. Yep, he's the lowest in the top 20.
So until we get to number 39,
Which is?
LaShawn McCoy,
Yeah.
3.2.
And we all know about that offense.
Yeah, but you're 3.6 for a guy. I mean,
But we remember watching these games, and it was just like, hey, David Johnson, we're not going to get space. Run up the middle. With this
that was your
terrible
boy.
and a bad offensive line.
That was your boy, Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
He had 140 points less than Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. And we're going to see, like, obviously, as we go on, they're all going to be 140, 142.
Well, this was even a 30-point drop-off from Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 2 games
And he
worth
played
right there.
16 games. The next guy we're going to talk about only played 14.
Ish games, because he left one early with an
Yeah.
injury.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff with a lot of these guys didn't play 16 games of the guys we care about, I should say.
Where do you want to take David Johnson next year?
If I can get him back in the first round, I'm probably going to grab him.
You would still take him, hoping for the upside?
Yeah, because I think the one thing Kingsbury's going to do is get that offense humming.
Okay.
Because that's what he's brought there to do, right? His defense could be terrible. He could give up 100 points a game. They don't care as long as he's scoring 50.
True that.
All right. You ready for number 10? You already mentioned him.
Joe Mixon. 14 games played in, 13 games he started.
Have they hired a coach yet? They haven't, have they?
No, not officially.
Ugh.
But I think it's going to be the Rams quarterback coach. Just like the Dolphins haven't officially hired a guy, it's going to be Brian Flores from the Patriots. So
maybe. You don't know. Patriots guys have been known to back out.
Oof, that's true. 1,168 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. He got a little bit of receptions this year. 43, 296 yards. He got a touchdown there. 17 points per game, though. And he had some big bust games, man. I mean, we're talking 5 of them. Not even counting week 3. Week 2, when he got hurt, 9 points. That hurt you. Week 7, against Kansas City, 8 points. That hurt you.
Yeah, it's Kansas City, too. A terrible run defense. Everybody was expecting big things, and nothing happened.
New Orleans, 10 points. That hurt you. I mean, he had a couple games here at Denver, 11.5. You would have liked more. Even Cleveland, whenever this game mattered for Cincinnati, still only got you 9.8 points. The last week of the season, they were playing hard against Pittsburgh, 11.7 points.
You got to remember, though, Andy Dalton was out last half of the season, so
No, I
he was the focal point of the defense. That's what they were focusing on.
I understand. I was just, he is a standard running back, not a PPR running back. He's great at that, but
Is he the new, like, Lamar Miller?
That's exactly who I was going to compare him to. I think he's the new Lamar
He's
Miller.
like Lamar Miller 2.0. A little bit better.
Well, because the offensive line got a little bit better this year, but the offense didn't really get better. So I think, yeah, he's a solid RB2. I mean, I know that this is saying that he was an RB1, but I'll view him as an RB2.
I just realized that ESPN, I'm pretty sure, is missing something with Saquon Barkley. Didn't Saquon throw a touchdown pass to Odell?
Yes.
ESPN does not have his passing touchdown on here. They have Christian McCaffrey's, and they do have my next guy, Tariq the Freak Cohen.
What an anomaly. So now there's 2.
So now we're out of the top 10. And this is where I think we're going to get a lot of, like, I didn't see this coming here.
2 anomalies. This is the second one. James White and then...
James White was an anomaly, but we all saw how the season started. Tariq Cohen was so inconsistent. Right? I mean, that's the only way to put it. 7 points, 3 points, 9 points, 30 points. 23, 22, 18, 2, 16, 6, 18, 34, 12, 14, 2, 11. Like, you don't know. You can't not start him because he'll get 30.
He's getting worked up over here.
But you start him, he gets you 9 against Arizona, who was the worst team against the run.
No, yeah, I got you.
So, what do you think about Tariq Cohen next year? And there are some reports that they're interested in Kareem Hunt.
I heard that. Also heard the Eagles were interested in Kareem
Yeah,
Hunt.
but the first one that came out was the Bears were interested.
Well, if the Bears are, then I'll tell you what, Jordan Howard's friggin' out for sure.
Is Tariq Cohen out too?
I don't think he's out.
Because Kareem Hunt can do both.
Kareem Hunt is great, but Tariq Cohen is their version of Tyreek Hill. Obviously, he's a very poor man's version, but they use him in that same way. Like, they do end arounds with him, little gadget type plays. I mean, the guy had 71 catches for 725 yards. That's a lot for a running back who isn't even a starter. So his big problem was his fumbles. He has 7 fumbles this year.
Only lost 3 of them, though.
Yeah,
So only 3 of them hurt you. Only 3 of them hurt you fantasy-wise. And
Not
only
if you play in
averaged
our
14
Dynasty League where it's just 1 point no matter what.
Okay. 14.6 points a game. Not good. That's why I talked about the inconsistency. But he does end up as number 11 because he played all 16 weeks. He only carried the ball 99 times.
So him or James White?
Man. Probably Cohen.
All right, so what round you taking him in, bud?
Well, I will not touch Tariq Cohen or James White earlier than the 5th round.
That's fair.
Because
so you would turn down an RB1, a solid RB1.
I don't think he's solid.
No, I agree.
I don't think he's solid.
That's why you have to look at the numbers, right? So when you see all these games and they're like bust games, you need to realize what you're getting. Yeah, you're seeing a guy who finishes an RB1, but when you get 3 points against Minnesota, 2 against Seattle, 4 against Green Bay, like, you need to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about with Tariq Cohen is we had the guy in our league who had Tariq Cohen. And he said, every time I start him, he gets me nothing. But as soon as I bench him, he blows up.
Is he the Amari Cooper of
running backs? I think he's just one of these gadget running backs.
Yeah.
We see them every year, the guys that are the passing down specialists, and they have these games, and you know what to do with them because they're not on the field 100% of the time. That's why we love Zeke. That's why we still love David Johnson.
Consistency.
Because he's on the field.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for consistency. Now, number 12, despite
only playing in 11 games.
11 games and being unemployed, still finished as an RB1. Amazing. So, Mr. Kareem Hunt had 824 yards in those 11 games, rushing 4.6 yards per carry, which is down from his rookie season, which was 4.9. And he had way more attempts in that season. He had 7 touchdowns still, though, in 11 games as opposed to the 16 before. 7 receiving touchdowns. So he actually had more fantasy points per game this year than he did his rookie season. So he was on pace to still have a very good fantasy season.
So he had 7 receiving touchdowns on only 26 catches.
It's amazing. Phenomenal.
When you look at James White, who had 7 receiving touchdowns, it was on 87 catches.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So he had, I'm looking right here, 1 bust week was the very first week of the season, but Travis Kelce busted that week too.
Yeah, that's when we talked about Travis Kelce being down and him being down, but Tariq Hill, remember, had that huge game.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill did that thing, and then the last one that you can call a bust game if you want to is 11.6 points against Arizona in week 10. But the dude was pretty dang good. 15, 16, 26, 16.
Do you call
29.
week 12 a bust because he got cut late Friday? It was a late on a Friday. I mean, it was East Coast time. It was like 5 or 6 o'clock when he got cut on a Friday. When the video
I remember that because I actually pulled my car over and signed Spencer Ware immediately.
Yeah, and that was the wrong one.
He was the right one for that week.
Yeah.
But then he got hurt, and we'll talk about who we think that's going to be. But I'm interested to see now the whole situation with Kareem Hunt. We're not going to spend too much time about it because he's not going to have a full season next year no matter what. I do expect him to get with a team next year and get signed. He's going to need a lot of intensive counseling. He will not play a full season. He will be suspended for some of, if not most of the season.
What is domestic violence? Is it 4 or is it 6?
It's
4.
It's 6.
Is it
Z
6?
got 6.
Okay.
But then again, Jameis Winston only got 3, so
That was domestic.
it wasn't violence.
It wasn't domestic.
It was
It was
sexual.
in a business.
It was sexual
It was
assault.
in a business.
All right. Yeah. So okay. I don't know. Hopefully, this young man gets.
If he
his
goes
life
to
on
Philadelphia, all right, let's just use Philadelphia as an example because I think there we don't have the running back logjam that we would have in Chicago. If he goes there,
track. He's clear cut.
would you take him in the 2nd round?
Hell no.
3rd round?
No.
When are you taking Kareem Hunt?
Because of suspension.
6 games. I get that, but it's
No.
But when he comes back from those 6
Hell
games,
no. 6 is a long
We talked
time.
about Mark Ingram last. He was out, what, 4 weeks?
4.
And he was taken, and he's nowhere near the running back that Kareem Hunt is.
You play championships week 16. So, the schedule doesn't fall right. You're going to be without him for 7 games for the bye. So, half my season, I won't have this guy.
But if you take 3 running backs, so let's say you get the 2 guys above him somewhere that you like or whatever.
Would I take him as my third round
As
pick?
your third round, third running back.
Only knowing what the suspension is.
Well, obviously
Before
when we
the
draft, we'll know the suspension and stuff.
No, we've gone to this before. Zeke, we didn't know.
This is different than the Zeke situation.
Okay. All right. So say we know.
There was no video on
and it's
Zeke.
6 games. I'm still suspect on it. I might go receiver in the third and take him in the fourth still.
Okay. I understand that. I wouldn't be surprised seeing a third round ADP on him next year.
I wouldn't either, but you got to be careful, man. You got to be real careful. And Philly can't seem to get a consistent running game going.
But he'd be the best running back they've had there in a long time.
Yeah, but the offensive
Shady.
line is poor.
But he does all the things that they do this patchwork with random guys.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, remember Jay had like 3 touchdowns in week 1?
Yeah, I just hope he gets his crap together.
All right. Number 13, Philip Lindsay. We're going to have to speed this up because we were going a lot longer than I thought we would. Philip Lindsay got hurt, wrist injury, played 15 games, had 1,000 yards, was elected to the Pro Bowl. 9 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air, only 35 catches. He played 15 games, and he's still behind Kareem Hunt. He has a wrist injury. Are you nervous at all about the wrist injury for next year? That's all I'm going to say about Philip Lindsay.
No, David Johnson came back fine from his wrist injury.
Okay, this is a lot later in the season, and a lot, from what I'm hearing, a pretty bad break or whatever it is.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Okay, let's move on to 14. Everybody knows about Philip Lindsay. We talked about him enough during the season.
I like him. Kenyon Drake?
Is this surprising? He's 14?
No, he's an explosive player. He's a good running back. But he only had 535 yards rushing on 120 attempts, 4.5 yards carry, 4 touchdowns. He made his money in the passing game, 53 catches, 477 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not great, but 12.9 fantasy points per game.
If you take that miracle play away, he falls all the way down to 19, by the way.
Yeah. So he busted you a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that I'm counting. So there's a 16-game season.
Yeah.
And he busted you half of those games.
Okay. But next year, with new coach in there.
New coach, if Frank Gore comes back, oh my gosh. I give him the ball. He's so good. And I don't like saying that about Alabama running backs. Kenyon Drake is an explosive. Give him the ball.
Did you hear the reports that it was because Adam Gase knew that Frank Gore could get him 3 yards? They were worried that Kenyon Drake might lose a yard on the first down. That's why they didn't want to give him the ball.
Adam, and
But he could get you 25.
And the fact that someone in New York said, yep, we want that guy. You're idiots. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. Oh my gosh. It's freaking Adam Gase. He's a jerk.
All right. We'll see what happens with who gets signed there and what they do with the running back situation.
No, even on my notes, I wrote Adam Gase equals stupid. That's what I wrote.
He does. Because Kenyon Drake, in spite of Adam Gase, got to 14. Number 15 was Chris Carson. He only played in 14 games. We've always talked about him being an injury risk. You like to bring it up all the time. He's always gets hurt. Got hurt again this year for a little bit. Had 9 touchdowns on the ground. Nothing through the air, really. 20 catches. No touchdowns. And Rashad Penny was kind of coming along there. They were starting to use him a lot more towards back in the season. Are you nervous about Chris Carson next year? If all the running backs go through camp healthy. So Penny doesn't get banged up.
He beat Penny out this year.
Penny had the hamstring injury, remember? And he came in fat.
He came in fat. Chris Carson's ready to roll, man. I like Chris Carson, dude.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still a little... I want to see what happens during training camps and all that, how they're using in preseason. Which one they give the nod to. I want to see you go to 16 because I know you want to go off on this one.
Derrick Henry? Oh my gosh, what a joke. Chris Carson, way more consistent than Derrick Henry. So let me break this down for you guys real quick. So Derrick Henry is the definition of a standard running back, not PPR. So let me explain to you how the first 6 games went. 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3. Then he messed around, got a touchdown, The next 2 games, he got 14, 11, another 2 touchdowns. The next game after that, 17. So your touchdowns help you. Without that, 4.9. Touchdown, 12.5. And then he got all of his fantasy points in the last 3 games of the season where he got 47, 30, and 16. And that is what propelled him to an RB2. He was at like RB 35,004 before that crap happened. And I cannot trust Derrick Henry.
He was tied for 3rd with rushing touchdowns for the season. Him and James Conner both had 12.
Phenomenal.
The only 2 above him were Alvin Kamara and Todd Gurley for rushing touchdowns.
And he got 7 of those in the last 4 games.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake did this a couple years ago, too. He did this last year.
So, Derrick Henry, people will see this, and they'll see how he finished the season. And they will say, I want Derrick Henry on my team.
Which is fine. And then you can go snatch up a better running back right after that.
Which is what you should do.
Like the guy I'm getting ready to talk about, Nick Chubb. Who, yes, did he play 16 games? Technically. He played 16 games. But we all know he didn't really get his start until they traded away Carlos Hyde. Yeah. And then after that, he started off slow, 14 points, then 9 points, but then it was 16, 35, 27, 16, 18, 10, 13, and 4. So his championship weeks weren't great. I love Nick Chubb next year. With Freddie Kitchens coming back, I think Nick Chubb's going to be a great running back. I think he's an easy guy you want to target. If you can get him in the second, hopefully he falls that low. I can see people jumping on him early because he's young.
I'm very excited to have him in Dynasty.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Oh, I'll have him still.
Expansion draft.
I'll still have him.
I'm going to tell somebody drafting from you.
Okay. Well, all right.
That's rude.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, man, I totally agree. I think he's going to be one of those guys. Sneaky.
So out of the guys we've talked about since, heck, I'll say in the top, since 10. So between Tariq Cohen, Kareem Hunt, Lindsey, Drake, Carson, Henry, Chubb is the one I like the most out of there.
I agree.
Yeah, even over Philip Lindsay. Like, Philip Lindsay had a great season, but I like Chubb better.
No, I completely agree. Philip Lindsay is going to split time with Royce Freeman next year.
He was this year, too. I mean, he just had the explosive plays.
Yeah. And I completely agree. The next guy on the list, Tevin Coleman.
How?
He was only 1 point behind it. So this is a guy who was supposed to get the backfield this year and blew it. So Deontay Foreman got hurt.
He's a free agent, too, so I don't even know if he'll be back there. I don't know where he's going to be next year.
He's not going to be back. Devontae Freeman got hurt.
Jets with Adam Gase.
Gross. Yeah, you can just go ahead and wash his career in the toilet if he goes there. Tevin Coleman was a disappointment this year, man. I think he works better as that number 2 with Devontae Freeman because 800 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, 276 receiving yards, 32 catches. You really thought that this was going to be the year that like he got it done and he was going to, that contract year, and he was going to get that money. But yeah, he hurt you, man. He hurt you real bad. A lot of bust games. They kept trying to feed Ito Smith the ball, which I didn't understand. But he had 2 great games and then 2 average games that really helped you. But you're seeing a lot of duds here, man. A lot of duds on this guy. I can't trust him.
Yeah. And then to the next guy, a guy that we can't trust anymore, but he's still doing it at 33. Age is only a number to Adrian Peterson.
Gross.
I mean, I respect his career, but oh my gosh, is he all over the place. Does he get you 20-point games? Yes, but he sandwiches them with 8s and 6s and 9s.
Had over 1,000 yards, dude.
I know. He is. Oh. Do you want any part of Adrian Peterson?
In PPR, no.
Even in standard, do you really want any part of him?
Yes.
Do you?
In standard, yeah.
I still don't know if I do because, receiving touchdowns still count.
Because I think Adrian Peterson in standard, if you swing him and you get him in like 7th round.
Well, and Alex Smith isn't going to be there next year. They came out and said, I think they said,
yeah, he's not. Well, that's not a surprise.
So, I mean, you don't have to worry about Alex Smith checking down to a running back.
Well, Adrian Peterson is not going to be playing in Washington next year.
You don't think so?
No, they got the juice, baby.
They might keep him just because they don't know how it comes back from that knee injury. Look how long it took Dalvin Cook to get right, which we'll get into that in a little bit.
All right, so the next guy, last guy on the list who I think is completely fallen off. It's sad. Jordan Howard, Still finishes an RB2 technically. 180 points.
In standard, would you rather have Jordan Howard or Adrian Peterson? Exactly. This is what I'm
I
talking
think I would rather have Adrian Peterson.
But you don't even know where he's going to be.
Yeah, but he had a half yard better per carry than Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard had a bad year.
He did.
There's no way to slice it.
And we were high. A lot of people were high on Jordan Howard.
It's funny because in my draft, I seriously debated between Jordan Howard and Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, man.
You
look like a genius, but you could have looked like an idiot.
Oh,
Didn't you talk your wife into Jordan Howard?
Yeah. I took him in our Yahoo League.
That could be domestic violence. I might want to bring that up.
I took him in a Yahoo League. I legitimately believed in him. You're not going to hit on everyone.
No.
That you believe in. That's fantasy football. That's what happens.
If nobody gets signed in Chicago, I think Jordan Howard is more the Lamar Miller than maybe Joe Mixon.
No.
Because Joe Mixon's got RB1 upside.
Tariq Cohen hurts Jordan Howard.
He does, but he'll be an RB2 at the end of the year. Just like Lamar Miller's an RB2 at the end of the year. He's never an RB1.
He had 8 games that busted you. Yeah. 8 games.
All right, let's get into honorable mentions because we got about 10 more minutes in this before we want to shut it off.
Okay.
Who's your first honorable mention you want to bring up? Outside the top 20, a guy you're really looking at next year, going to be higher than probably half these guys we talked about.
Damian Williams.
Damian Williams.
Number 1.
From his playoff run and everything. If they don't sign anybody there.
If they don't sign anyone, Damian Williams is going to be a sneaky second-round pick that is going to bring immense value.
If they don't get anybody else there or draft anybody. Or there's so many things that are up in the air with that because Damian Williams he wasn't the guy there. It took a lot of injuries for him to become the guy.
Yeah, he was the third-string guy. Damian and Darryl, the 2 Williams brothers, not related. But Spencer Ware's out. Kareem Hunt's out.
Is this more like you want any part of the Kansas City offense you can get a hold of?
Yeah, you just want pieces, dude.
Yeah, any part you can get that Kansas City
offense.
If
you can go in there and be like, Sammy Watkins, he was a little banged up, but if I can steal him in the 10th round, I might just go ahead and scoop him up.
Just to have something.
Yeah, just because you want a piece.
Because they can put up 50 and when I'm just throwing 3 to 5 touchdowns every game, you're just like, well, as long as one of my guys catches one of those touchdowns, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. That's my number 1 guy that outside the top 20 that I really want a piece of.
So my number 1 guy is Dalvin Cook. And It comes down to Dalvin Cook. That knee finally was getting right towards the end of the year. Beginning of the year, it was nothing. We had nothing going with Dalvin Cook. And then after the bye week, he had the bad game against Chicago, but we know the Chicago defense is amazing. But then he had 16, 18, 19, 29, and 13 and 10 in the last 2 weeks. And he barely carried the ball in the last game of the season. He's just the guy I think is going to be better. A year away from that knee surgery. Before the Adrian Peterson rushed for 2,000 yards after knee surgery, we always said it took 2 years for you to get back.
Yep.
You need 1 full season to be right. And that's what I think is Dalvin Cook will be the guy in that Minnesota offense where you can't load the box.
Yeah. Because you got to respect the receivers there. My next guy, so I'm going to do a little sandwich here. Kerryon, I'm not as high on as my next guy, but Kerryon is a guy who I feel like is great 3rd round pick. He's going to bring you solid value next year. They tried to hold a Garrett Blount thing. They just wanted him to be the guy, and Jim Bob is gone. Matt Patricia's stupid, but hopefully he's got a better offensive coordinator. Kerryon is going to be the running back of the future, and he showed flashes of it last year. And I fully believe in him. I'm still not jumping off that train.
So my next guy, I'll kind of go with you guys. He's kind of my bottom guy here that I want to talk about. And this might surprise is Leonard Fournette. He only played 8 games this season.
Okay.
He needs to get his head on right. I think we both can agree with that. He does a lot of stupid things that make him miss games.
Okay.
Punching people, get suspensions, right? But when they give him the ball, which I think they should really look at, maybe giving him the ball. If they give him the ball 18 times or more, he gets you over 15 fantasy points. 18 times or more. They only did it 3 times this season. And in those games, if they get 4, 16, 25, 22, 27.
Do you know
fantasy points.
Do you know where that puts him on points per game? 12th.
Yeah.
RB1.
That's what I'm saying. Like when he is on the field and they feed him the ball, he gets it. But they were one of the pass happiest teams at the beginning of the season, and I don't understand it. He is always bangs up, has those nagging injuries.
Yep.
But it's going to be his 3rd year. new offensive coordinator. We'll see what happens, but I think they've got to feed him the ball. You drafted him at third pick overall?
Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, it was the third pick overall for Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah. No, he's fourth.
Was he fourth?
He was fourth.
Okay. You got to feed him the ball. You took him to feed him the ball.
Yeah.
All right, get your love fest on.
My last guy, Aaron. I love him, Aaron, so much. Aaron Jones, he broke out in a big way, despite Mike McCarthy trying to push him back into his hole.
He only played 12 games. The suspension and then the injuries. So there's a couple games there where he had 15 carries, 145 yards. They never fully gave him the running game. And he still finished. Let me go back to see where he finished. Aaron Jones still finished at. No, that's not right. He would have finished at 17 as far as points per game goes had he played the full season. And that was despite missing the first 2 games. Aaron Jones is going to be the guy next year. And if they start coming up with this Jamal Williams crap again, I'm going to punch LaFleur right in the face. Cram it in your cram hole. I don't think
LaFleur.
they will. I think LaFleur, he was there with the Rams. I know that's why he got drafted, because he was in the McVay offense, right? He will see Aaron Jones as his Todd Gurley. He's not nowhere near Todd Gurley's level, because Todd Gurley is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
But he's that guy that he can do all phases of the game.
He still finishes as a 24th ranked running back, which is an RB2.
Yep.
And you got him late, and he paid off. So
the last guy I'm going to bring up started the season hurt, only played in 13 games. Sony Michel, and you got to deal with the Belichicks. But he's emerging during the playoff run. What
do you think his value does to James White's value?
I think that's what kills James White's value. Because when I look at running backs, even in PPR, I want the guy that's touching the ball. Granted, I don't get a point for carry. I want the guy that's touching the ball. It's why I put certain running backs ahead of Christian McCaffrey, who was still great, but I'll still put Todd Gurley over him. I'll still probably put Zeke over Christian McCaffrey next year.
You want to do a PPC league?
Points per carry?
Yeah.
If points per carry, would you take anything but a running back in the first 4 rounds?
No. I don't think you could. Maybe Tyreek Hill.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Sony Michel, I think he's just going to keep going. They took him in the first round. Especially if you can get him, it's going to be hard to probably get him late because what he's doing in the playoffs, people are seeing this and they're going to see it. But if you can get him second or third round, maybe even fourth, depending on where he goes, what happens, because people are scared of New England running backs, and you can play matchups with him because that's what Belichick does, you can be like, this is a bad run defense. Sony Michel is going to feast.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I just want to say that Aaron Jones, out of everyone that we have talked about tonight, has the highest yards per carry of 5.5. That is relevant. So, yeah, I think that wraps up the show. There's some interesting facts out there. There's some stuff that you guys have to really dig into. We're digging into it for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
And this is way early. Like, we can't project for next year. We're just trying to make assumptions based on who knows what's going to happen.
We're going to start digging into how these coaches are going to affect this stuff. But, I mean, this is good information. This is stuff that makes us better fantasy players.
Hopefully it makes you all better.
I know it had a huge impact on me last year. And doing it, I think, we're both going to be very successful next year, Brad. And all of our listeners better learn something.
Better learn.
We'll drop a buck of knowledge on you.
Yep. Next week, probably going to be wide receivers.
You want to do wide receivers?
I think we're going to do wide receivers next week. We'll see how deep we go. We might go a little farther than 20 on wide receivers because it's so sketchy of a position.
Tight ends are... Whew.
Oh, I don't even want to do tight ends. We're going to do top 5 tight ends, call it a day?
No, we'll go top 12, probably.
The number 25 wide receiver last year, Larry Fitzgerald in PPR, just so you know.
Shut the fuck up.
All right.
Yep.
Drop that music on me.
We're definitely going to stop before that. All right. Thank you guys for tuning into another fun show. We appreciate all of your support. Please follow us on Twitter at EmptyWagonFF, at Instagram EmptyWagonPod. Brad, you can find him at @TacJones. I'm at FFJoshHughes. We love you guys. We love your support. Tell your friends. Keep tuning in during the off season. We're here for you guys. Hit us up with any questions and information you have. We're here for you. We'll shout you out, guys, on the show.
Yeah.
It's very real.
We love getting questions.
Yep. Later, guys.
Later.